National Report Court is back in session. On the docket today, we take up the potential case of a small community trying to keep sinners off the beach before noon on Sundays.
Which would be all of us, by the way. You're looking live at Seaside Heights, New Jersey. Gorgeous, by the way, out there right now, courtesy of EarthCam. About 40 minutes down the shore is the village of Ocean Grove. State officials now in a standoff with a local religious group, and it's all because the Ocean Grove Camp Meeting Association has been, get this, restricting beach access this summer on Sunday mornings. The tradition stemming from the village's origins as a Christian seaside resort, but the state says it clearly violates separation of church and state.
So taking up the potential case is Eric Schwartzreich. He's a criminal defense attorney. Andrew Cherkasky, also criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor. For the purposes of this segment, Eric's going to represent the state of New Jersey. Andrew's going to represent the Ocean Grove Camp Meeting Association. So gentlemen, welcome. Eric, the association's site shows that beach access is prohibited before noon. So first to you, what would be the argument from New Jersey and maybe those who disagree with having closed on Sunday morning?
All right, I'm going to take the side, but I can see both sides of the argument here. And I thought that the devil was here with me in Florida next to me, but I'm gonna roll with this. So, the issue is separation of church and state. There are fees that people pay for those beaches. What this association is doing is that they are blocking off the boardwalk. The boardwalk was access, ingress and egress going to the beach, going to the water. In this case, is it holy water, but going down to where the water is. And it is blocking off access to where residents go, where they pay these fees, not just residents, but tourists. We have this law in the Constitution, very controversial, First Amendment, separation of church and state, and it's also meant to protect religious freedom. But on the other hand, it's also meant to protect people so they feel like they're not discriminated against, and all religions are able to go down there, and everyone should be able to go down there. Part of the problem that we're going to have here is that the association has been doing this, and we have to look at the weaknesses, for years, and there haven't been any complaints. And now we've got complaints, and they're not blocking off the whole beach. They're blocking off the boardwalk, which they have access to. But the problem is that, how can someone who requires a wheelchair or someone that can't walk across the beach, they should be able to have access to the beach. The beach should be for everyone. That's the argument, separation of church and state here. Part of the problem, if you look on the other side, what would stop any religious group, even though this group has rights, this Methodist group has had rights for years, but let's say an Orthodox religious group wants to come down there and say you can't cut locks off of your hair here, or another group comes down there, another religious group says you can't come over here on the beach and you can't eat a certain a type of food. I mean, everyone should be treated equal.
All right.
The beach is for everyone. This is the beach. It's for all.
Let me jump in and get Andrew's take on this again on the association's part here. They say they have an agreement with Monmouth County that allows it to restrict the access here on Sunday morning during the summer. So you've obviously heard that argument from the state. Andrew, I'll give it to you.
Well, this is just a simple attack on traditional values. This is a small village that wants to enforce some dignity on the Sabbath, and they should be allowed to do so. This enforcement from the state of New Jersey, of course, 2 months after we heard about how New Jersey is banning school districts from telling parents about children coming out as being trans. So I think the state of New Jersey doesn't have a lot of credibility going into this. If you want to party on New Jersey beaches on the weekend, go up or down the boardwalk either direction. There are options there. But if you have a small town that wants to enforce ideas of traditional values in our great country, the electorate of that little township can do so. And that's not a problem, and it shouldn't be.
Okay. Eric, I want to get your response to that. But first, just adding to Andrew's argument here, the association says that limiting beach access on Sunday, quote, enhances religious and secular quality of life experiences in Ocean Grove, which society recognizes as valuable. With that, Eric, if you could respond to Andrew's argument.
Well, the enhancement that they're saying, is that the view that they're talking about from the boardwalk? It still is beautiful to see beachgoers, to see our citizens, to see people of this country going on a Sunday and enjoying the beach. There's a song by Ziggy Marley that music is my religion. Well, beach is a religion as well here too. We're not blocking off the boardwalk to access where there's some type of, let's say, a strip club called the Sandbox, where someone wants to go in and out of the sandbox there. It's the beach. It is the beach that is being blocked off. And it's not just when you say it's for religious reasons. I mean, separation of church and state, the beaches are owned, the water is owned by the state of New Jersey. Even though they have access to the boardwalk, the water, the beaches are owned by New Jersey, and they charge a fee. So to stop people from being able to go to the beach is a violation, and it violates the principles of separation of church and state.
All right, final thoughts from Andrew. Again, your final arguments here, and again, do you even see this making its way to a court?
I don't see this making its way to a court. This sounds like an unnecessary battle. Again, traditional values are something that townships can vote into, there are blue laws all over the state of New Jersey. There are curfews on beaches at nighttime on beaches in the state of New Jersey. The township is absolutely within its right to have a little bit of modicum of quiet on a Sunday morning. That's a reasonable thing, and I think the state of New Jersey needs to butt out.
Okay, great arguments from both sides. If you both could stand by, we wanted to welcome in Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor, and he's also here to play judge and jury. Doug, where do you land on this one?
Well, if this were in a real courtroom, the judge would say to counsel for the state, wait a minute, Mr. So-and-so, let me get this straight. This has been going on for over 100 years, and nobody once raised an issue that it violates any kind of constitutional religious principle. And by the way, Mr. Counselor, you recognize that liquor stores are often closed between 9 and 12 on Sunday. So this is not a hard one. And Andrew's right. I mean, you have to see the forest for the trees here. It's the state stepping in new circumstances, new climate, when over 100 years has gone by. So the ruling is for the association to allow them to continue to limit it, because the limitation is pretty reasonable, 9 to 12 on Sunday.
All right. And again, it might be for the purposes of going to church during that time, but of course they would require you to head to church before you show up at the beach at 12:01. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on today. Eric, Andrew, and Doug Burns. With that, National Report is adjourned.